Hi, I'm Terry, and I'm here with Addie and Michelle Griep, and we are just going to talk about writing today. So I'd like everybody to introduce themselves and tell us your name, your name, and what you're working on, and kind of your genre or whatever you want to say about yourself. So go ahead, Michelle.
Alrighty, I am Michelle Griep. I have been writing since I first discovered blank walls and Crayolas, much to my mother's chagrin. I write historical romance, although I have veered off into contemporary. And so I'm kind of all over the board with that, from Victorian to Regency to even back to medieval. And currently, I'm working on a Regency Gothic that is about the inspiration for the Frankenstein monster. So
Oh boy.
that's what I'm doing.
That sounds wonderful. How about you, Addie?
I started writing before I could write and have a degree in journalism, spent the first part of my life as a journalist and then a grant writer, and then I shifted careers and became a counselor, as in a shrink. So what I'm doing now is kind of combining the two careers and working on a book that is using some of the best advice I've gotten and given about perfectionism and how it really doesn't work. And the book is called Adequate Woman, and how we don't have to be Superwoman because we are adequate in Jesus. So that's the short version.
That might be good for writers to remember too.
Yeah.
Take some of the pressure off.
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. I can't tell you how many people, including myself, I'm a recovering perfectionist, how many people are crippled by not moving forward because it's not perfect. And that's okay. We don't have to be there.
Yeah. Well, I'm a writer too. I've been learning and practicing writing fiction for about 25 years, and hopefully moving my career ahead and being a little more focused on it now.
And what is your name, madam?
I said my name is Terry Thompson.
Yeah, there you go. Because you're going to be famous. We want to remember your last name, right?
So anyway, but I am starting a new story right now, which is what I wanted to pick Michelle's brain about mostly. So my first question for you, Michelle, is can you describe your process when you're starting a new book? Like, how do you come up with a character? How do you create that story premise and get everything ready to actually start writing chapter 1?
Well, I don't always have all those things in place before I start writing chapter 1, but sometimes I do. I start out, it could just be a wisp of an idea, a very small little bit of an idea, or it could be like based off of a movie. For instance, my next book coming out is The Thief of Blackfriars Lane, and I base it off of the children's movie Zootopia, only I took that story premise and set it in Victorian England. And obviously not with animals, but with people. So I'll come up with like a little idea of what time I want to set it in, what era. And then I start with the characters, the main characters, the hero and the heroine. I have a Pinterest board that I have one for heroes and one for heroines. I'll look at those pictures and wonder about those people and then narrow it down to just one of those pictures, and then that person is going to be my hero or my heroine. And then I go in depth on them, like what's their driving factor, what is their goal, what's their motivation, and what's standing in their way of attaining that goal. And I do that both for an internal goal and an external goal. And if you can make those goals clash with each other, that's even better, because then you got a whole lot of conflict going on that has to be resolved. But I like what you said about perfection. It doesn't always work out that way. And so I don't kill myself over trying to do that. If it happens, fabulous. If not, I just keep going. So yeah, that's how I think about my characters. The secondary characters, they kind of develop as I write. I like them to have goals, motivations, and conflicts too, but I don't always figure them out ahead of time. I kind of flesh those out as the story rolls along. So that's what I do for characters. For plot, I always figure out where I want to start, where I want to end, and what's going to be the big black moment when they lose it all.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll come up with maybe just 3 or 4 rising action points where things are going to get worse, things are going to get worse, things are going to get really bad, and then kablooey. And then the falling action, I don't usually figure that out. I just know where I want to end. So you can get a little messy in there as I'm writing it, but that's what I do for pre-writing before I start writing chapter 1. But of course, I'm chatting with other writer buddies when I get stuck and such. So that's kind
I think that's very helpful. That's
Yeah.
been helpful for me.
good.
Kind of brainstorming with somebody else when you're trying to figure all that out and what works and everything.
Every author, even big name authors, get stuck.
Yeah.
It doesn't ever work seamlessly or flawlessly.
Mm-hmm. Good to know.
Yep.
Really good to know. And so how long does it usually take you in that beginning mulling process and everything?
If I can have story ideas, I'm always thinking up those and just jotting down a short sentence or 2 about future story ideas. But that whole sitting down to flesh out the hero and the heroine,
Yeah.
if I can have a month to do that, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But I don't always have a month.
So now that you're on contract, how does that work?
Yeah, I don't always have a month, like I say, but my contracts I've gotten more space between them. So I have 9 months total
Okay.
from start to finish, which is a good chunk of time. I can write a book in 6 months, but I would prefer to write it and then let it sit for a month and then go back to it, and then edit it a lot. So 9 months is a generous portion of time.
Mm-hmm.
And approximately how long are your books?
They're contracted to be 80,000, but they're never 80,000. They're always topping out right around 90 something to 100.
Okay.
So then do you have to go back and cut them, or do they allow that much?
They allow me that much leeway.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the shortest book I ever wrote was probably 70. That was my first one when I didn't know what in the world I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, usually very rare do they go over 100. So usually right in that 90,000 range.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's good.
How
And
many
then,
books do you have published right now?
How many books have I published? That's a good question. I should count sometime. I believe there's 13 of them out there right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, I kind of lose track, but.
I'm behind.
What's that?
I'm behind. I got to catch up.
Yeah, I keep cranking them out. Keeps me out of trouble, keeps me off the streets.
That's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
You need that, don't you?
Everybody knows I can be a bit of a rebel, so it's a good thing I'm at home writing a book.
Yeah. Well, what's your favorite part of writing the novel? Of all the different things that you get to do, what's the best part?
I love editing. I love to go over and over and over and fine tune it. It's that sitting down with a blank page, that first draft of the manuscript. That's a little daunting, even though I've got 13 books out. It's still daunting to face a blank page and face a blank chapter. So editing by far, that's my favorite, because then I get to play. Then I get to play with words.
Yeah. Then the big project's done, and now it's just making it pretty.
Yep. I like that part a lot.
Yeah, well, that's neat.
Yeah.
Addie, did you have any other questions for her?
Well, I assume we're going to get to see some of your book covers or who your publisher is.
That would have been a great idea, except
we're trying to help you out here. Promote your stuff.
Ooh, I know. That would have been a great idea. But here's the thing. So, Kate, see this line behind me on my wall?
I do.
That's a piece of tape. I'm just moving from the dungeon I was shoved in the laundry. We moved last year. So all my stuff is shoved in boxes down in the laundry room. But now my daughter moved out, and so I have this whole room to myself.
Yay!
So I'm slowly moving things up, and my books have not moved up yet. I have one up here. Wait. Oh, I know what I can show you. Let me grab that. This is fun. So one of my writer buddies, Ann Mulligan, had this mug made for me. Can you see that?
Oh, that's cute.
The house at the end of the moor. So it's a little
I love that.
she made. And that's my most recent novel. So it's not a book, but I mean, it's a cup, but I'm not holding
It counts.
But it is a book.
It counts.
Okay.
It looks official. It looks
That's
official.
okay.
It has your name and it has your book name.
That's
And
covered.
if you hold it a little closer, then people can look at it and say, yes, I want to read that book. That looks fantastic.
Okay, well, that came out April 1st, no fooling. And that one is set in Dartmoor,
Okay.
which is in about 4 hours west of London. And interestingly enough, when I was there last time, I went trekking around Dartmoor, which is, if you don't know what a moor is, it's kind of a desolate plain. It was
I have been on a moor
Awesome.
last year,
Where
but
at?
I don't know where Dartmouth is.
Okay.
I was all over England for about 3 weeks, so
Awesome.
it was wonderful.
When I was
Very
hiking,
wonderful.
Mark and I went out, and it was sunset, and he had wandered off, and it's getting all shadowy and the creepy time. And I thought, oh, this is kind of creepy being here by myself. What if I stumbled across a body or something? And I thought, no.
Hey.
So the story is the heroine is on the run herself. She's an opera singer who runs away to hide out on the moor because, of course, bad guys are after her. And she stumbles across a body, and it's an escaped convict of the hero who was wrongfully convicted of theft of jewels. And lo and behold, he finds those jewels in her house. So who stole them?
Good setup.
How did they get there?
Good setup.
Yeah. How? What are they going to do now?
And it was very good. I already read that one. So.
Okay. Well, then you're up to date, Terry.
Right.
Yeah.
Today, but Addie wasn't, and our
No, I wasn't. Now, do you publish just hardback or paperback, or do you do Kindle and audiobook and all those other options?
Yeah, that's totally up to my publisher. I'm with Barber Publishing, and they don't do a hardcover. Barber doesn't, but they generally sell my rights to Thorndike, and they do a hardcover large print.
Oh, nice.
So a lot of libraries will pick that one up.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's in paperback, it's in ebook. Many of them are in audiobook, not all, but many of them.
Okay.
They're even in the Netherlands. They have them in Dutch. So go figure.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah.
Did Barber work that out?
Yeah, that's all Barber doing all that. So
Oh.
I wouldn't even know where to begin to know
To speak Dutch.
wouldn't know how to do that. So yeah, so I'm writing exclusively for Barber right now.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
and then since we were planning to call this Tea with Terry, but that is already taken.
Look, I have a mug for my
Oh,
tea.
there's your mug. Here's mine.
And being a Southern girl, I've got my iced tea right here.
Her
Sweet
tea.
tea. Got your sweet tea going on.
Yeah.
That's right.
So I want to ask both of you, what is your favorite tea or coffee?
Earl Grey.
Tough call.
Earl Grey in the morning. Regular tea or hibiscus in the afternoon when I'm switched to cold tea. So.
Okay. I'm kind of a rooibos girl when it comes to tea, like my rooibos. And coffee, have you girls heard of Dalgona Coffee?
No.
You whip up a tablespoon of instant coffee, tablespoon of hot water, and a tablespoon of maple syrup, and it whips into this frothy, delicious, very highly intensely flavored, like whipped cream kind of texture. And then you spoon that over on top of a glass of oat milk or almond milk, the milk of your choice. And it's
really good.
pretty tasty.
Do you have a favorite instant coffee? Because I've never tried an instant coffee I particularly liked.
Yeah, I usually go with the Starbucks Vias. Have you had those?
No.
They're pretty flavorful. So Starbucks Vias, way to go.
All right.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll be our sponsor one day.
Every writer has their favorite particular coffee, don't you know?
And for me, my go-to tea is going gunpowder green tea. That's like my daily tea. And for coffee, of course, Wesley Andrews.
No, of course.
That's right.
Roasts
That's
the
awesome.
coffee, and they have a shop in Minneapolis up there by Michelle.
They do.
And
It's
it
tasty.
really is good. And they have
It is.
subscriptions too. So
They have what?
subscriptions.
Oh,
So
nice.
we can get it down here because we can subscribe. But it's good. And I'm
Plus,
not
he should just send it to his mom.
well.
That doesn't bring in any kind of profit. Are you kidding?
Okay, she birthed that thing, so.
He and his wife even pay full price for their coffee.
Oh, sweet mercy.
Wow.
Starting
Wow.
kind of mode, you know.
The
Wow.
friend and family discount does not apply, huh?
Wow.
That does not apply. But they're doing pretty good. So they've been in business 3 years.
That's wonderful.
Hey, Michelle, would you send me links to your latest book?
Sure.
And any links you want me to put up with this, and we'll do that.
Okay.
And
Yeah, because I have, if people want to look at my Pinterest boards, I always do a board for a book. So they can see what kind of inspiration I have. And I always make a Spotify playlist every time I'm writing a book too.
that'd be cool too. So
Yeah.
Very cool.
links, that would be interesting. And maybe if you could type out the recipe to that coffee drink.
You
That
got
would
it.
be
I can do
great.
that.
Okay. Well, thank you all so much.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Just appreciate it. And